afternoon. Sorry. Good afternoon, friends, colleagues, peers, juniors, seniors, everyone. Thank you all. And I'm also appreciating YouTube to give me this platform where I can talk about human resource management, which is my area of specialization. I repeat, my area of specialization is human resource management. And I'll keep I'll talk about this, and I'll start from tracing the history of human resource management. By the way, this is the first time I'm on a YouTube channel, so please forgive me if there are certain errors. I'll try my best to keep it error free, but there might be certain discrepancies. So I hope you'll forgive me for the mistakes, which is not which is non-intentional. Okay, about myself, I'm Dr. Arbab Akanda, and my field of interest is human resource management, or you might add strategic human resource management, or you might even say people management. It's all the same. We're dealing with people at a strategic level, functional level, operational level, and managerial level. Besides that point, I'm focusing on today tracing the history of human resource management. I have to say, I have to admit, I've been in this I've been in this sector for around 30 years. I'm a fellow of the Institute of CIPD London, a DP from Glasgow, PGDPM, LLB, Masters, and a PhD. In spite of this qualification, I'm still learning today. Why? Because human resource itself is a very dynamic and flexible branch of knowledge, which makes this branch of knowledge intriguing, interesting, and exciting. So, as I've written a couple of books, I've written at least 5 books, and is on the way. Okay, the development of human resource management has been different in different countries. Social needs, economic needs, political pressures from international organizations, legal obligations, just to name a few. All these have actually influenced human resource management. Okay, so let's start. And also, trying to trace human resource management is not only about what I've just mentioned, it's also about the global politics at that very moment of time, which has also an impact on the way we manage people. So let's start. I've divided tracing the history parts. First of all, I'll deal with the Middle East and HRM. Secondly, I'll be dealing with Western perspective and HRM. Thirdly, I'll be dealing with the Indian perspective and HRM, and also last but not least, the Far East perspective and HRM. So let's start with the Middle East perspective of HRM. From the Middle East context, HRM can be traced to ancient times. For example, the Chaldean period. Let me spell it out. Chaldean, the Chaldean period, where actually from research, actually, this comes from research, I can see a very positive wage incentive plan which they had. About the Chaldeans, yes, they were a part of Babylonia. Now, if I have to say geographically, it was a tribe living in South Iraq. They have, they have immensely contributed to today's human resource management by initiating the incentive wage plan. At that moment of time, it was a radical thinking. And today, yes, incentive wage plan in today's context, yes, it can be linked to human resource management, and also it can be linked to motivation, definitely. Motivation, also the reward management, all these areas actually are interrelated. So I say, that's why I say we owe much to the Chaldean tribes who are known to be intelligent people at that time. And their initiative may not have directly influenced human resource management, but it can be linked to today's human resource management. My next topic of discussion will be on the Western perspective of HRM. Another notable period can be linked to the pre industrial revolution, which was characterized by slavery, serfdom, and the guild system. Okay, slavery. Remember, all these about the Western perspective, all these can be linked to today's human resource management. Slavery was a form of trade where human beings were sold in the marketplace like any other item. For example, rice, sugar, wheat, coffee, etc., and were subject sexual exploitation, and most importantly, had no human rights whatsoever. Based on slavery, we also witness the Civil War in America within bracket 1861 to 1865. One of the slavery which was and actually slavery divided the country into the North, the Confederate and the Union. Abraham Lincoln, on behalf of the Union, came to power and abolished slavery once and for all. Once and for all. It was during that time that we come up steps which have greatly influenced human resource management. Concepts like freedom, equality, security, and dignity. Those in the HR profession, those in the HR profession will realize the depth and the implication of these four key concepts. I repeat, freedom, equality, security, and dignity. Now we have come across innumerable of scholars in this field during the industrial period, post-industrial period, and pre-industrial period. For example, the Principles of Administration by Henry Fayol, the human needs theory of Abraham Maslow, the work structure conflict by Chris Argyris, the hygiene and motivators by Frederick Herzberg, 1959, and in contemporary times, David Ulrich, Demings, Peter Drucker, Peter Senge, Charles Handy, Senge, David Kolb, etc. All these great scholars and intellects have contributed to the development of human resource management. Next, I'll talk about briefly about the Indian perspective. Yes, India, HRM in India has a strong legacy. We can trace HR to the Arthashastra, a book written by Kautilya sometimes in the 4th century BC. I'm sorry about my pronunciation, but it will be Kautilya. Kautilya, a great Indian philosopher. He's written this book, Arthashastra, in the 4th century BC. HR procedures and systems were developed by Kautilya, who was a great philosopher, scholar, and intellect, and was also a radical thinker for his time. He wrote Arthashastra as a guideline to good governance and concentrated on three main areas: international trade, taxation, labor, theory of value. We've heard of Wealth of Nations, written by Adam Smith in 1776. But Arthashastra of Kautilya was written many, many years ago. Okay, Kautilya also stated, according to the great philosopher Kautilya, also stated that wages must be just and must depend on levels of skill, level of hours worked, units of output produced. After that, we can also come to the Mogul period. The Mogul period, which started in 1625, as far as I can remember, through the Panipat War. Mughals also contributed to human resource management. You might ask me, how? They developed a unique administrative system. They developed karkhanas. They developed karkhandas at that moment in North Delhi, which was the area, and they developed key administrative system. They built karkhanas. By karkhanas, I mean factories. And gradually, by the passage of time, a new class of occupation started to emerge. The name of the occupation is managers. Those who manage the karkhanas were called karkhandas. See where I'm getting to? And gradually, the managers had to divide their work into a number of disciplines. But the key concept was managers at that time who managed the factories. And in order to manage the factories, they had to look into the operation, production, finance, human resource, obviously, and the quality. The goods were exported to Europe. So we can see, and also we come across a few outstanding acts. For example, the Plantation Act of 1863, the Factories Act 1881, the Factories Act 1948, the Workman Compensation Act of 1923, the Industrial Employment Standing Order Act 1946, etc. These were the acts during the Mughal Empire, and then the British came and it, and then the British came, and then gradually today's human resources can be traced to these acts. And then obviously another influential theory came from the Gandhian approach, which is they exercise right in a peaceful and non-violent manner. These acts influenced and shaped the thinking of human resources management by mainly initially focusing on industrial relations matters. And we know industrial relations is a very much part of human resource management. According to human resource management, we can divide human resource management into three parts: employee resourcing, employee development, employee relations. This is a unique concept that comes from CIPD, Chartered Institute of London, from which I am, and I'm a fellow of the Institute of CIPD, London. So we can see that HRM is divided in three parts: employee resourcing, employee development, employee relations. And Moguls greatly contributed to the employee relations aspect of human resource management. Now let's talk about the Far Eastern perspective. Here again, I have to come across a philosopher called Confucius. The teachings have greatly influenced Asian countries like China, Taiwan, Vietnam, Japan, Singapore, South Korea, North Korea, etc. And the teachings of Confucius has also can be linked to the development of human resource management. He has at that time in 551 BC to 470 BC, during that time, he also wrote about leadership, an astonishing literature which is written and philosophized. So we have to give Confucius a great credit. Confucius teaches us how to embrace business code of ethics and be socially responsible. Again, he has also concentrated in his writing on ethics. The key features of the traditional Chinese culture greatly influenced by the teachings of Confucius. What are the teachings? Obedience through authority, understanding the importance of structure, rules and regulations, formal communication, logical thinking, cause and effect, patience, group membership. These are the teachings of Confucius. And this is actually our subject matter, human resource management. As a human resource management, we talk about obedience to authority. We talk about structure. We talk about rules and regulations. We talk about formal communication. We talk about logical thinking. We talk about cause and effect, patience and group thinking. All these are our subject. All these have been further and further simplified and expressed and much researched. So I've discussed very briefly, and I've also given you a PowerPoint. I've given my friends a PowerPoint, and also I'm giving you a, a book of references. I've written this book in 2016 2016. And in chapter 2, we see I come across the trace of human resource management, tracing human resource management from this book. I'm sorry about this. Where am I? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry about this. It's a mistake about it. This is the book I've written, published in London by Author House, which is part of Penguin. And and you can find this book in Amazon and in any bookstore in London. So I hope all of you have enjoyed this brief mini lecture on tracing the history of human resource management. Actually, we can't pinpoint any date, any time. It's impossible to do so. That's why we take all this, the knowledge that I've just given. See, human resource is also linked. Most of the literature comes from the Western perspective in human resource management. But as I said, the history, tracing the history, Far East has also contributed to the development of management. There is an Indian perspective, the strong Indian perspective. Also, the Middle East have contributed, and Western, also the Western, from the Western point of view, they have also contributed much. And that's how we see the ILO, United Nations, all these great areas, all these great big institutions have been influenced by all these areas. It's a combined, it wasn't important. It was, we can't compartmentalize any specific time, any region, any specific person for the rise of this subject. It is all the items in the subject are interrelated. That's how I see things. And about me, I was a part-time academician with years of hands-on experience, and still today I'm trying to gain knowledge about human resource management. With the advancement of, with the passage of time, concepts change, thinkings change. I have to keep. Human resource management never stands still. You can never put a lid on it. It's moving, like people move. The economy moves, politics moves, ideology moves, so on. So, human resource management has also got to move and keep pace with all these areas that I've just mentioned. It keeps on moving, new concepts will come. Nobody's really wrong, nobody's really right. That's the way it is. My friends, have a good time, have a good day, and very soon I'll be coming up with my next topic of discussion related to human resource management. Goodbye. Thank you all. God bless you.